Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. While the rest of the market seems to be kind of finding its footing in early 2025, the biotech world is, as always, serving up some serious drama.
Yeah.
Today, we're digging into ACELYRIN,
Okay.
ticker symbol SLRN,
All right.
and why they're suddenly the hottest name in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Think mergers, acquisitions, and maybe even a bidding war. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride.
What's really capturing everyone's attention is that ACELYRIN received an unsolicited buyout offer from Concentra Biosciences.
Wow.
We're talking $3 a share, and get this comes on top of an already existing merger agreement with Alumis that was announced just weeks earlier in February.
It's like a real-life Wall Street thriller, isn't it? This news sent ACELYRIN's stock SLRN skyrocketing.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw a massive 16% jump in pre-market trading on February 21st.
It's certainly a dramatic turn of events, especially considering ACELYRIN's stock had been on a bit of a downward trend recently. But this news, particularly the Concentra offer, seems to have injected a massive dose of optimism back into the market.
Okay, so let's break this down for our listeners who may not live and breathe biotech.
Sure.
What exactly does it mean when we say ACELYRIN is a late-stage clinical biopharma company?
Good point. That's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Essentially, it means they're focused on developing new drugs and therapies, and they're already in the advanced stages of clinical trials for some of their products.
Okay.
Think of it like this. They're in the final stretch of a marathon, much closer to getting their treatments to market compared to a company still in the early research phase.
So they're not just tinkering in a lab, they're on the verge of potentially bringing a new drug to market. That's a big deal in the biotech world, and it explains why they're attracting so much attention from companies like Concentra and Alumis.
Exactly. And that brings us to their lead drug candidate, lonigutamab. It's being developed as a treatment for thyroid eye disease, or TED for short, and it's showing some serious promise.
Okay, let's zoom in on lonigutamab for a minute. Thyroid eye disease.
Yeah.
I'm not sure everyone is familiar with this condition.
Right.
Can you paint a picture of what it is and why a new treatment is so important?
Absolutely. TED is an autoimmune condition where your immune system mistakenly attacks the muscles and tissues around your eyes.
Oh, wow.
This can lead to a whole range of symptoms, from bulging eyes and double vision to pain, and even vision loss in more severe cases. It can really impact a person's quality of life.
So a new and effective treatment could be a real game changer for these patients. It sounds like lonigutamab has the potential to be that game changer.
Yeah.
But why all the excitement around lonigutamab specifically? What makes it stand out from other potential treatments for TED?
Well, one key factor is that lonigutamab appears to have a better safety profile compared to some existing treatments, at least based on the data we have so far. Remember, any new drug has to prove not only that it works, but that it's safe for patients to use.
That's a crucial point. We don't want to trade one problem for another, right?
Exactly. And we can't ignore the current gold standard for treating TED Amgen's drug Tabetza. It's been effective for many patients, but it does come with potential for some pretty serious side effects.
So there's a real need for a treatment that's both effective and safe. And if lonigutamab delivers on both fronts, you can see why there's so much interest in ACELYRIN right now.
Precisely. And this brings us back to that impressive stock jump.
Yeah.
The market is clearly responding to the potential of lonigutamab, and the fact that two companies are vying for ACELYRIN suggests they might be undervalued. They have this incredibly promising asset that's attracting attention, even though their financials aren't painting a picture of huge growth yet.
Let's dig into those financials then. What's their current financial situation like?
Their most recent detailed earnings report is from Q3 of 2024. Their R&D expenses are actually down, which might sound counterintuitive for a company in their position.
Right.
But it's due to some strategic shift they've made. They've been streamlining their operations.
Okay.
For example, they discontinued the development of a drug called izokibep and made the tough decision to reduce their workforce.
So they've been tightening their belts, which isn't necessarily a bad thing for a company in this phase. It shows they're focused on allocating resources efficiently, but are they making any money?
Well, they're still operating at a loss, but they do have enough cash on hand to keep them going into mid-2027. And honestly, being in the red isn't unusual for a company at their stage of development. Their focus right now is on getting lonigutamab through those final trials and potentially to market.
This actually raises a really interesting point for our listeners. It's not just about looking at a company's current financials, but also understanding where they are in their development cycle and what their future prospects look like. ACELYRIN might be operating at a loss now, but the potential payoff from lonigutamab could be huge.
That's a crucial takeaway for any investor, especially in the biotech sector. You have to look beyond the present and try to anticipate what the future might hold. Now, speaking of the future, those technical indicators are backing up this excitement we're seeing around ACELYRIN.
Okay, let's get a bit technical for a moment.
Sure,
What are these indicators telling you?
the stock's recent surge pushed it past its 20-day moving average and could even be breaking through its 50-day moving average.
Wow.
That's a strong signal of bullish sentiment, especially if it can maintain this momentum.
And I'm guessing trading volume spiked when the news broke.
You bet it did. We likely saw volume double, maybe even triple compared to typical trading days. That's a clear sign that the market is sitting up and taking notice.
So putting it all together, we have a company with a potentially groundbreaking drug in the late stages of development, two companies ready to throw down big bucks to acquire them, and technical indicators that are flashing buy signals. It's a pretty compelling story, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even touched on the potential implications of that Alumis merger yet. Remember, Alumis brings its own expertise to the table, specializing in precision immunology.
Okay, that's a great segue. Let's talk about that Alumis merger. How does it fit into this whole story?
The merger could potentially add another layer of value to ACELYRIN Alumis, has their own promising drug in development, ESK-001 for psoriasis and lupus, both of which are also autoimmune conditions.
So we're not just talking about acquiring a single promising drug, but potentially gaining access to a whole pipeline of new treatments and a wealth of knowledge and expertise in immunology.
Exactly. This merger could be a game changer, allowing them to tackle some of the biggest challenges in immunology.
It's like watching a high-stakes chess game unfold in real time, isn't it? And we're here to help you understand the moves and anticipate what might come next. But before we dive deeper into the strategic implications of this merger,
Yeah.
let's take a quick break. We'll be back in a moment to unpack more of this fascinating story.
All right, let's delve deeper into this Alumis merger.
It's fascinating to think about the potential synergy here, ACELYRIN, with its focus on lonigutamab for thyroid eye disease and Alumis developing ESK-001 for psoriasis and lupus. They're both targeting autoimmune conditions, but in very different ways.
Exactly, and that's where the real excitement lies. If this merger goes through, it could create a powerhouse in the immunology space. Imagine the combined resources, the shared expertise, the potential for accelerated drug development. It's a compelling prospect.
It really highlights how strategic these mergers and acquisitions can be in the biotech world.
It's not just about acquiring a promising drug, but about gaining access to a whole ecosystem of knowledge, technology, and talent. And in a fast-paced field like biotech, that can be a huge advantage.
So for our listeners who are thinking about adding ACELYRIN to their portfolio, what should they be watching for as this story unfolds?
Well, first and foremost, keep an eye on those acquisition offers. Will Concentra up their bid? Will Alumis try to sweeten their deal? Or could we even see a new player enter the game? This is a dynamic situation, and things could change quickly.
Right, and beyond the drama of the acquisition, what are some key factors investors should consider?
It's crucial to look beyond the hype and focus on the fundamentals. Dive into ACELYRIN's financials, scrutinize their clinical trial data for lonigutamab, and compare it to the competition. How does it stack up against existing treatments, especially in terms of efficacy and safety?
Don't just get caught up in the excitement of a potential bidding war. Do your due diligence, understand the risks, and make sure any investment aligns with your overall investment strategy.
Absolutely. That's why we're here on Investing Talk podcast. We're trying to help you cut through the noise and give you the insights you need to make informed decisions.
And speaking of cutting through the noise, let's talk about the volatility of the biotech sector. ACELYRIN stock has seen its fair share of ups and downs in the past year. What factors contribute to these wild swings?
Biotech is a news-driven industry, and any news about clinical trials, regulatory approvals, or even whispers of mergers and acquisitions can send stock prices soaring or plummeting.
It's a sector driven by innovation and breakthrough, so investors are constantly on the edge of their seats waiting for the next big thing.
Sometimes those expectations get ahead of reality. A company might announce positive results from an early-stage trial, and investors go wild, driving the stock price up. But later-stage trials might not be as successful, or the drug might hit a snag with the FDA, and suddenly the stock is in free fall.
It sounds like investing in biotech requires a strong stomach and a healthy dose of patience.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart, but for investors who do their homework and are prepared for the volatility, the potential rewards can be significant.
Now, ACELYRIN's stock is currently trading at a significant premium compared to where it was just a few weeks ago. What are your thoughts on that?
It's clear that the market is pricing in the potential for a successful acquisition. If one of these deals goes through at the current price point, investors who bought in early could see a very nice return.
But there's always the risk that a deal falls apart or that the final price is lower than expected, right?
Exactly. In that scenario, the stock could quickly drop back down. It's a reminder that there are always two sides to every story, and investors need to be aware of both the potential upside and the downside risks.
Okay, let's shift gears for a moment and talk about the elephant in the room, or should I say the whale in the biotech ocean competition. The market for thyroid eye disease treatments isn't exactly a one-horse race. How does lonigutamab stack up against the other players in the field?
That's a great question. As we discussed earlier, Amgen's Tepezza is the current standard of care for TEG, and it's a formidable competitor. But lonigutamab could offer some advantages. Early data suggests it might have a better safety profile, which could be a major selling point for patients and doctors. And there's always the possibility that it could prove to be even more effective than Tepezza, but we need more data to confirm that.
So it's still a bit of a waiting game. But even if lonigutamab proves to be superior, getting a new drug to market is a marathon, not a sprint. What are some of the hurdles ACELYRIN might face on the road to FDA approval?
The FDA approval process is rigorous, and there's always the potential for delays or even outright rejection. They'll be looking closely at the clinical trial data, scrutinizing everything from efficacy and safety to manufacturing processes and labeling. And even if lonigutamab gets the green light, there's the issue of pricing and reimbursement.
Ah, yes, the business side of things. Negotiating with insurance companies and other payers can be its own challenging obstacle course.
It absolutely is. ACELYRIN will need to make a compelling case for why lonigutamab is worth covering, especially given the existing treatment options on the market. And they'll need to strike a balance between a price that's attractive to payers and one that allows them to recoup their investment and generate a profit.
It's a complex equation with a lot of moving parts, and it highlights why success in biotech requires more than just scientific brilliance. It takes business acumen, strategic partnerships, and a bit of luck.
Couldn't agree more. Now let's circle back to Concentra's offer for a moment. There's an interesting detail in there that we haven't discussed yet, the contingent value, right?
The CVR right, I think that deserves its own deep dive. Can you explain what a contingent value right is and why it's significant in this case?
Absolutely. A contingent value right, or a CVR, is essentially a promise of future payments to shareholders based on the achievement of certain milestones. Think of it as a bonus payment if things go really well.
So in this case, ACELYRIN shareholders would receive an additional payment if, say, lonigutamab gets approved by the FDA or hits certain sales targets.
Exactly. It's a way for Concentra to sweeten the deal and share some of the potential upside with ACELYRIN shareholders. It's a bet on a future success of lonigutamab.
It's a smart move, but as with everything in biotech, there are risks involved.
Of course, there's no guarantee those milestones will be met. The FDA approval could be delayed, or lonigutamab might not achieve the expected sales figures. Investors need to factor that uncertainty into their calculations when evaluating Concentra's offer.
It adds another layer of complexity to an already intricate situation, but it also speaks to Concentra's confidence in lonigutamab's potential.
It certainly does. And this brings us to another crucial point, diversification. Even if you're incredibly bullish on ACELYRIN, it's essential to remember that biotech is a high-risk sector, and it's never a good idea to put all your eggs in one basket.
Right. Spreading your investments across different sectors and asset classes can help mitigate some of that risk and create a more balanced portfolio. It's all about managing your risk tolerance and aligning your investments with your financial goals.
Exactly. So even if ACELYRIN ends up being the next biotech superstar, make sure it's just one piece of your overall investment strategy. Now, we've covered a lot of ground today, but I think it's important to step back and consider the bigger picture for a moment.
Okay, let's zoom out. What's the key takeaway for our listeners?
The biotech industry is a fascinating and rapidly evolving landscape. It's a space where innovation reigns supreme and where the potential rewards can be enormous, but it's also a high-stakes game with inherent risks and uncertainties.
It's a roller coaster ride for sure, but one that can be incredibly rewarding for those who are well-informed, strategic, and patient. And that's where Investing Talk Podcast comes in.
We're here to guide you through the twists and turns to help you understand the complex world of biotech investing and to empower you to make smart decisions.
But we're not financial advisors, so as always, we encourage you to do your own research, consult with a professional if needed, and invest responsibly. Now, before we wrap things up, we want to hear from you.
What are your thoughts on ACELYRIN? Are you bullish or bearish? Head over to our website and leave a comment or send us a message on social media. We love hearing your perspectives and engaging in these conversations.
And of course, if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Investing Talk Podcast and share it with your friends. Spread the knowledge and help us grow this amazing community of investors.
We appreciate your support.
Until next time, happy investing. We've talked a lot about the potential upside of investing in ACELYRIN, but like any investment, there are also risks involved.
Right. Investing in biotech is not for the faint of heart. There's always a possibility that clinical trials could hit a snag, that the FDA might not approve a drug, or that even if a drug is approved, it might not be commercially successful.
And in ACELYRIN's case, there's the added complexity of these potential acquisitions.
Exactly. If either the Concentra or Alumis deal falls through, it could send the stock price tumbling. And even if one of the acquisitions goes through, there's always the risk that the immigration process won't be smooth, or that the combined company won't be able to achieve the synergies they were hoping for.
So it's important for investors to be aware of these risks and to do their due diligence before making any decisions.
Absolutely. Don't just jump on the bandwagon because everyone else is excited. Take the time to understand the company, its technology, its financials, and the competitive landscape. And most importantly, make sure any investment in ACELYRIN aligns with your overall investment goals and risk tolerance.
That's such great advice for anyone considering investing in biotech, or any sector for that matter.
It's all about making informed decisions and being prepared for the ups and downs that come with investing in these innovative companies.
Well said. Now, before we wrap up, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the contingent value, right? That's part of Concentra's offer.
Ah, yes, the CVR. It's a fascinating element of this deal and one that I think a lot of investors might not fully understand.
Can you break it down for us one more time? What exactly is a contingent value right, and how does it work in this particular situation?
Sure. A contingent value right, or CVR, is basically a promise of additional payments to shareholders if certain milestones are met.
So in this case, ACELYRIN shareholders would get extra cash if lonigutamab gets approved by the FDA or hits certain sales targets.
Exactly. It's a way for Concentra to incentivize ACELYRIN shareholders and to share some of the potential upside if lonigutamab is a blockbuster success.
It sounds like a win-win, but as you mentioned earlier, there's always the risk that those milestones might not be met.
That's right. CVRs are not guaranteed payouts. Their value depends entirely on the future performance of the drug, and there's always a chance that things won't go as planned.
So investors need to factor that uncertainty into their calculations when evaluating Concentra's offer.
Precisely. It adds another layer of complexity to this already fascinating story.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything. Any final thoughts for our listeners today before we sign off?
Just that the biotech industry is a dynamic and exciting space to watch. There are always new discoveries, new breakthroughs, and new investment opportunities emerging.
And we'll be here to guide you through it all every step of the way.
We're passionate about sharing our knowledge and insights and helping investors navigate this complex world.
Absolutely. Now, if you enjoyed today's episode on ACELYRIN, don't forget to subscribe to Investing Talk podcast and share with your friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts on ACELYRIN. Are you bullish or bearish? Head over to our website and leave a comment or connect with us on social media.
We appreciate your support.
Until next time, happy investing.